This is Johnny Naranjo, a sports commentator from the Dominican Republic. The Dodgers lineup is as follows. Batting first and playing second base, Dave Lopez. Batting second in center field, Ken Landro, who played last winter in the Dominican Baseball League. Batting third in left field, Dusty Baker. Batting fourth at first base, Steve Garvey, who played 2 winters in the Dominican League with the Licey Baseball Club. Batting fifth from the Escogido Baseball Club and the LA Dodgers, Pedro Guerrero playing at third base. Batting sixth, catching Mike Socia, who after 2 winters in the Dominican League is going back this year. Batting seventh in right field, Ron Renicky. Batting eighth at shortstop, Darrell Thomas. And batting ninth, the pitcher, right-handed pitcher, Ted Power, who won 18 games, lost 3 with the Albuquerque Baseball Club. We have over 20 Dominican players in the major leagues, and we are doing this game live to the Dominican Republic via radio. We also be seen via satellite through NBC Network.
Johnny Naranjo, and he's always so cheerful when we see him, Tony.
Johnny Orange is what he's called down there, and a great baseball tradition, the national sport of the Dominican Republic. Nolan Ryan takes the mound for the Astros here in the Dome. Here's the defense behind him. Jose Cruz in left, Tony Scott in center, Terry Poole in right field, Art Howe at third base, Craig Reynolds at short, Phil Garner at second base, Harry Spillman starting at first base, Al Ashby the catcher, and Nolan Ryan, along with Sandy Koufax, only 2 men in baseball history to have pitched 4 no-hitters. And Joe, they tell us that 3 or 4 times this year when Nolan Ryan came out of the bullpen from warming up before a ball game, he had no-hit stuff.
I tell you, anytime he walks on the mound, you have to kind of look for it because he just throws that hard. His strikeouts, as you look at his other stats, 9 and 5, he has averaged 9.5 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. It's amazing. He's leads in that department. Koufax is second, 9.2. Sam McDowell, 8.8. Seaver, 7.6. And Gibson is 7.2. It's 1-8, though, against these Dodgers, Tony.
The thing to note about Ryan this year, he is leading the league at 1.85 ERA among starting pitchers. Bob Knepper of the same Houston Ball Club is second in the league. He is throwing fewer pitches. Art Howe, the third baseman, said we are starting to make some good plays behind Ryan because we're more on our toes. Instead of 150 to 200 pitches a game, he's cut it down considerably.
Ryan works fast. It's just that he's been so wild. He averages 4.3 walks per 9 innings, and he's got a lot of 3-2 counts, but he does work fast, which infielders and outfielders like. Here is Davey Lopes, 5 home runs, 17 runs batted in, hitting at .211. He's the first ball hitter. Will he jump on the first pitch? Thrown by Ryan. Bruce Fleming is behind the plate, walked over to the Dodger bench.
Joe, I think one of the reasons that Ryan has always had difficulty with the Dodgers is because they have been pretty much a disciplined ball club. They take a lot of pitches and they walk a lot off Nolan Ryan.
Jumped on the first pitch, all right, and fouled it straight back. And Al Campanis was seated over there, and Campanis didn't see it. The general manager of the Dodgers.
He had it all the way.
Didn't even move.
A Branch Rickey protege, Al Campanis.
Outside, ball 1. He played that like he did as a player. Howard for the shortstop. Ball game just underway. Curveball hangs high. Houston, a game and a half ahead of Cincinnati. San Francisco, 3.5 in the National League West. Reynolds, 1 out.
I wonder if Reynolds is having some trouble with his arm. He threw that from down under that time. He's never had a great throwing arm, but it's always been acceptable. He gets rid of the ball, but he threw a ball away yesterday, Joe, that he slung over in the same fashion as he did just then. He's been very consistent here for the Astros.
That ball he threw last night is almost like his shoulder was hurting him. Here's Landro, 6 home runs, 39 runs batted in, hitting at .251. There's his strike. Some races going down in these last 2 weeks. American League East. Boston, Detroit tied. Milwaukee, a game and a half. Baltimore. Everybody's in it. The second inning. Montreal won. New York won.
Ryan, over 7-inning periods, has thrown consistently 97, 98 miles per hour, but Bill Verdon says that this is the first year he has ever heard Ryan admit that he tires late in the ballgame. Of course, Noli is now 34 years of age. But for 7 innings, he can just blow you away.
2 balls and a strike to count. Pittsburgh at St. Louis, postponed, will be made up as part of a doubleheader tomorrow. Pittsburgh at St. Louis, that game rained out. Doubleheader tomorrow. 2-1 pitch. It's pulled foul. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That was the drop. There's no way that you can be looking for a curveball off Nolan Ryan. You've got to look fastball at all times if you're up at the plate. And if he gets it over, as he has been this year, it's goodbye. There are his stats versus the Dodgers' career.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Landreau, who had the longest hitting streak in the major leagues last year with Minnesota. He had 31, but this time the curveball, the overhand curveball, the drop gets him.
You will see the same kind of movement on the part of the hitter. Watch Landreau flinch. Ooh, just explodes. I think when we touched upon it in the opening, Joe, talking about 2-pitch pitchers, you see so many kids come up these days with throwing 4 and 5 different pitches. Whereas to go with just 2 pitches, you've got to have 2 overpowering pitches, as Ryan does.
You got to be able to throw him for strikes as Dusty Baker takes it outside, ball 1. He's got a 12-game hitting streak going. In that streak, he's 20 for 46, which is a .435 average. Inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Dr. Scald, Dusty Baker. He's had a good year for these Dodgers. You throw that overhand curveball like that, about all you can do is genuflect, boy. That just gets ready for the 9 o'clock mass. You're just on your knees and nothing you can do.
Once in a while, he'll do what he just did to Dusty Baker. He dropped down a little bit more from 3/4 to the side, and it was a fastball, but Dusty still buckled. There's the drop. The drop, the yellow hammer. I don't know where that term came about, the yellow hammer. Jug.
Uncle Charlie.
The old jug handle, I guess.
That's what the late and great Bill Meyer, manager of Pittsburgh, used to call it. Uncle Charlie. Here it comes. Swung late, right to Phil Gardner. It's going to be an easy inning for the Astros.
Well, my name is Tony Scott of Houston Astros and first place Astros, and I'm going to give out the starting lineup of the day. Batting leadoff in right field is Terry Poole. Hitting second is Phil Gardner. Hitting third, myself. In center field, Tony Scott. Hitting fourth is Terrell Cruz, our left fielder. And hitting fifth is Alan Ashby. They call him the Smash Ashby. He's hot right now, and he's going to be swinging a good bat today. And hitting sixth is Art Howell playing third base. And hitting 7 is Harry Spillman. He's my man, Spillman. And hitting at shortstop, hitting 8th is Craig Reynolds. And batting 9th is a pitcher, Nolan Ryan, with hard gas, and you will be seeing him throwing real hard today.
Nice
hard
smiling
gas.
face.
Yeah, he's really up all the time.
Ted Power, a hard thrower. He says he has 3 pitches, but rarely uses a changeup. Beaten by Cincinnati last week. His only win came against the San Diego Padres. He's got one of those slurves, Joe. It's not a slider, it's not a curve, it's in between.
And it's ball 1 on Terry Poole. It's ball 2. Poole and Scott really interchanged in the batting lineup. They thought Poole would be the RBI man, but when he was hitting third, he kind of pressed to drive in the runs, and Scott was driving him in from the leadoff spot, so they switched him around, and now Poole leads off. 3 balls and no strikes.
Astros usually have trouble scoring run, but especially difficult this year against Dodger pitching. They've scored just 9 runs in 7 ball games against the Dodgers.
Here's a 3-0 pitch. It's a strike. Power was with Albuquerque last year, 13-7. Averaged 6.6 strikeouts per 9 innings and walked 5.5. Fouled out of play.
Joe, I'm wondering right now because the Astros are starting to warm somebody up in their bullpen. I don't know if it's just somebody warming up to the tune-up. Bob Nepper now, he's tuning up for his next start. Get a little camera exposure. Usually pitchers will do that before a ball game.
One out.
Joe, it almost becomes trite because the Houston Astros have just 9 ball games to say that this is a critical and important game. It obviously is. But I wonder from a psychological viewpoint if this is not an especially important game because they're batting against Ted Power. And Nolan Ryan, who's been such a good pitcher, they feel they may have to win this game. They were wiped out by Hooten last night as shutout, and tomorrow they face Valenzuela, who's almost everybody's pitcher of the year.
That's right.
Psychologically, this is a very big game for the Astros, I think. They got to beat this kid, and I think they know it.
If he beats him, that could really let the air out of the balloon, I'll tell you. There's a fastball that misses. Want to make a correction I was just handed. Pittsburgh and St. Louis is not rained out. It's Philadelphia and Chicago. Pittsburgh did not score in the top of the first. Tian against Forsch. Out of play. Montreal 2. Mets nothing at the end of 2. Harris against Burris.
Phil Garner, the man who's become the glue of this infield when he came over from the Pirates. Verdon said since he's been here, he has not had a player who has taken charge in the infield like Garner has. A man who could become a free agent next year. There's Lasorda. Ron Peranowski, the pitching coach. Polish Hall of Fame, he should be.
2 balls and 1
reliever.
strike.
Peranowski and Drabowski. I'll take those 2 guys as my short relievers from the left and right side.
The guy I played with, Ted Wilkes, should be in there too.
You bet.
He, what a relief pitcher he was. The Cork lives here in Houston, along with George Munger. Geoff Cross. Used to be Cardinal country. Garner draws the base on balls. He's on.
If there's going to be a problem for Powers, you just saw it, a control problem. Been in the Dodger organization about 5 years, spent 3 years at Kansas State University, and here has been a man who has really surprised Vert. He knew he was good, but he said he's produced better than we ever thought he could. Tony Scott.
And just as a footnote on what you said about Garner, Deacon Jones telling me that Scott and Garner really stabilized the effectiveness of left-hand pitching against him since Scott is a switch hitter. There goes Garner. Here's the throw. Safe. Stolen base.
Socha gets that slurve to throw on. He caught that ball funny, Joe, which may have hurt him and cost him a step. Backhand and trapping it down toward the ground. It's always more difficult to throw on a breaking ball. But had he caught that, I think with the glove up and 2 hands, he may have saved 1 step and may have gotten Garner. Garner really surprised the kid Power. Very slow going home.
So Garner's on at second base. 1 ball and 1 strike, 1 out. Cleveland 4, Boston nothing at the end of 1. Waits against Eckersley. Boston and Detroit tie 26-18. Red Sox and the Detroit records. No score in this game. 1 ball, 2 strikes, breaking ball. Scott has hit in 14 of his last 15 games.
And he has played an outstanding center field. He made a good catch in left center field last night off his shoe tops.
Here's the 1-2 pitch now. It's high, 2-2.
Final score for you, Minnesota 7, Texas 3. Minnesota hanging in there, aren't they?
Minnesota 3.5 games behind Kansas City. Oakland's a half game behind Kansas City, but with the split season, obviously, Kansas City's only worried about Minnesota. Oakland's already in. He got him on a curveball, a beauty.
I'm going to hang an expression on you, Joe. We've heard so many different expressions that pitching coaches use, and you tell me what you think it means. I was talking to Ron Peranowski about Ted Power, the young pitcher, and I said, when he has a problem, what is it? He said, he lacks arm discipline. What would you interpret that to mean?
I have to think about that because that's a high rent district term. Boy. Arm discipline. I remember guys like Dizzy Dean who just played good old country hardball and threw a drop once in a while. I can understand that. Arm discipline. Foul back, Cruz, strike 1. Let me think about it.
You know, you hear these terms, different release points, and speed has become velocity, and control has become location. But Ted Power lacks arm discipline, but he's catching on to it.
It sounds like a Madison Avenue PR campaign. Fastball, 1 ball, 1 strike. He gets lazy with his delivery.
Kind of.
What does he mean?
He said he changed his release point, that sometimes he will throw 3/4, sometimes his elbow will get close to his body and his breaking. He doesn't throw from the same spot often enough in a row. It's like a groove swing in golf or a groove swing in your hitting. He doesn't have his release point grooved.
Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Peronowski said it, for a hard thrower as he is, who struck out a lot of guys at Kansas State and in the minor leagues, it is not unusual. There's Ron Peronowski. Valenzuela right behind him, and that was Danny Ozark.
Sort of.
Fernando will pitch tomorrow.
With
Manny
Papa.
Mota.
He's with Papa. That's Mota's nickname, Papa. Power is a big guy, 220, 6'4". Cruz, it's a strike.
Here's a man right in this situation where I'm sure that Scioscia, as the appeal goes down to the third base umpire, John Kibler, that Scioscia will not let Cruz, who's been such a good player for this ball club, beat him. Clean-up hitter with first base open and 2 outs. You're going to still make him hit your pitch. And I think you'd rather pitch to Ashby, the next hitter, than Cruz, even though Ashby's been hot.
2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Garner at second, no score. He fouls it down the left field line. Cruz was in a stretch where he was trying to knock in runs by himself and lost his stroke. He was trying to pull everything because they just weren't scoring runs. Cruz has 13 home runs, the most by an Astro since 1978 when Bob Watson had 14, but this is a tough ballpark for a home run.
All right, now Scioscia just went out and had a conference with his pitcher. What do you think it was about?
Don't give him a good ball to hit.
First base is open.
First base is open, and he'd have to hit the breaking ball off me anyhow.
But Power's best pitch is his fastball.
But I wouldn't give him a strike to hit.
All right.
Be a breaking ball. 3 balls, 2 strikes. I'll tell you how much it's his best pitch. I asked a question I ask a lot of the young pitchers. I said, Ted, when you leave the hotel, what's the one pitch you want to leave at the hotel? He said, my fastball, which is pretty obvious. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. From Guthrie, Oklahoma, Ted Power.
Breaking ball, 3-2.
He was not going to give him a fastball. That's one of those unintentional intentionals. Here is Ashby. 4 home runs, 30 runs batted in, hitting .281, and Deacon Jones has been working with him, and he's got a new stance, which is the key to it is lifting his front foot, which allows him to lay back and doesn't have to pull that trigger quite as
So I've never seen Sadaharu O, the great Japanese home run slugger, in person. I have on films, but he picked his leg up. Ashby does it a little bit like that, but not to quite the extreme that Sadaharu O did. Watch the right front foot.
Curveball, missed it, strike 1.
Ashby is a switch hitter, but Pujols has been doing the catching against left-handed pitching most of the times this year.
Two strikes. In fact, Deacon Jones, the hitting coach, has a drill as we look at the stance. There goes the leg up. It's a timing device, but he also has him hitting fungos with just one arm, and he's got a reason for that, which we'll talk to him about.
And it's the bottom arm on the bat is what he hasn't hit it for, to strengthen that arm. Whatever he's doing, it's working for Ashby.
17 for 23 since the change. Here's the pitch. Line drive right at Davey Lopes. He hit it right at him. Now there's a guy with a dandruff problem. The guy with the glasses behind him doesn't have it, just put his hat on. But this guy, how do you like that? Orange hair yet. Looks like an ice cream flavor.
There are some cities who have not gotten caught up in the pennant race around the league, but Houston certainly has. We saw it last week in Boston. They certainly have.
It is tightened up. Montreal, 2.5 games over St. Louis in the East. Houston, 1.5 games over Cincinnati as Garvey takes a pitch outside for ball 1. Montreal 2, New York 1, third inning. Pittsburgh, St. Louis, 0-0 in the second. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Gave you that final score, Minnesota over Texas, 7-3.
You hear that grunt? That field microphone we had when Nolan Ryan released the 2-0 pitch to Garvey, you could hear the big grunt come out.
Sounds like Wimbledon. You ever hear some of the guys grunt? Tennis players, all 4. He walked him. So Garvey's on. Brings up Guerrero, who's hitting .304 with 12 home runs, 44 runs batted in. He's playing third base today. Curveball is a strike. Missed with the fastball, came back with the curveball, and sometimes a catcher will do that to bring that pitcher back on the track. Another curveball. This misses. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Talking to Bill Verdon before the game. There's Guerrero and his stats. He plays center field. He has the throwing arm for a right fielder. Play third base. Lasorda said he could play second base. He's playing third because Ron Say has a broken bone in his left arm. May be out for the season.
Curveball started to really snap. As you could see, Guerrero go into a little bit of a dance step. It stayed inside. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. This little boy and Nolan Ryan jumps out as he blows that bubble gum.
Talking to Mel Wright about that curve that they've tried to work on so hard with Nolan Ryan to get better control, and he said he's more relaxed. He had a knee problem last year and some back problems, and he really couldn't push off his right leg, but he's throwing it in a more relaxed fashion now, not forcing the breaking ball. He's been getting it over more often this year.
Good cut, a big grunt, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Garvey at first. Joe West, the umpire. Harry Spillman holding him on.
This is the kind of ballpark, the Astrodome, which is an excellent pitcher's ballpark. You can make mistakes here and hang curveballs and get away with them, unlike a Wrigley Field or a Fenway Park or an Atlanta, or such attractive parks. There are your dimensions. 390 in the power alleys, 406 to dead center field, and the ball does not carry very well. For a day game like this, Joe, there's also a problem at times for outfielders seeing the ball off the top of the dome roof where the paint is wearing out.
Garvey's at first base. And Ashby has thrown out 32 of 91, which is a 35%. So Garvey will probably be running. Let's see what happens. There he goes. He fouls it out of play. I think that move, Tony, was dictated more on Ashby's statistics rather than Garvey's speed or Guerrero handling the bat.
Yeah, and I think also that Nolan Ryan, when he tries to get everything together, he is a little bit slow going to home plate. He kicks that leg, so there are a lot of advantages and percentages in the favor of Lasorda starting Garvey, even though Garvey does not have speed.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out.
Also get a little movement in that infield with Reynolds covering that time.
There he goes, and it's fouled off, and Garvey comes back.
I'll tell you, it is interesting to see what happens in a situation like this to the middle infielders, the shortstop and second baseman, because both Reynolds and Garner, even though only one was covering that time, it was Garner. The pitch before it was Reynolds. But they both creep a little bit closer. They're watching the runner. You've got to be aware of the steal, and that means it cuts down their range left and right, and that base hit could sneak through, especially on the carpet, where the ball gets through the infield so much more quickly. Any kind of movement you can create, divert the attention of the pitcher and the catcher, it's your advantage.
See Garvey as Guerrero waits. And there he goes. And here he comes back. It's always interesting to watch the runner walk back like Garvey's looking over saying, I wish you'd hit the ball. I mean, come on. Now he's checking the coach to see if they want him to continue to run.
And Joe, the indication that with the 3 pitches that Guerrero's been able to foul off may be an indication that Noli doesn't have his good fastball yet. It may come when he is right. He's got that thing up around 100 miles per hour, and that ball starts hopping up high in the strike zone as the last pitch was to Guerrero. It's at times untouchable.
There he goes. Struck him out. Here's the throw. Safe.
So the curveball, didn't he?
Breaking ball. It certainly was a curveball and a beauty. Tough ball for Ashby to handle. There it is, breaking down.
And a little bit tough for a hitter, is it?
Tell you throw 3 fastballs and then throw the curveball. Throw was a bit high, and Garvey makes it.
On-line throw from Ashby may have had him. It would have been close. Second base umpire down there, Dick Stello. See how he's got the inside position. More American League umpires are going to that position also. Dick Stello. And will there be 6 or 4 umpires in the mini playoffs? It's a big controversy going now.
Be 6.
I think so too. I think the importance of the mini series, and again, if the integrity of the game is in question, if there's any doubt, put on 6. Can't argue for the money or whatever else the umpires might want. That'll be negotiated. But I think 6 umpires, 2 down the line. I think like the World Series, the League Championship Series, I think there should be 6.
I agree with that, but that 10% of the first 3 games, that's a whole thing that I just don't understand. I don't know that much about it, but it's a little tough that umpires want 10% of the first 3 games. Players want it, but they don't want the coaches and managers included. 3 balls and no strikes on Mike Scioscia. Steve Garvey is on at second base, no score. We're in the 2nd inning. Nolan Ryan falling behind. He was able to get a big strikeout on Guerrero, got a strikeout from Landreau in the 1st inning. Right down the middle, 3 balls and a strike. These Astros, individually, they may not be able to match up against anybody else, but collectively, it's a good team. He didn't get it. That was strength against strength. Inside the Astrodome, good crowd. They had 35,000 last night.
Joe, I think what you said is indicative of what great pitching can mean to a ball club. You might not have much power, which the Astros don't. They're not as speedy as last year, but their ERA as a team is 2.65.
Foul straight back.
Boy, a great pitching and a great bullpen like they've had, and Sutton starting to pitch well, and Sambito and Smith coming out of the bullpen, and McCourty, Nepper pitching like he is. It can mean a lot.
Well, it's interesting when they ask the question that's asked every year at this time, who would you rather face in the playoffs? A couple of the Dodgers made no bones about it, said we'd rather play Cincinnati because with this Houston pitching, they can wipe you out in a short series, and they can certainly do that. 3-2 to Scioscia. Curveball, he got it, no doubt about it. 3 strikeouts, and every one of them have been on Big Uncle Charlie. I mean, he really rolled that one off the table.
You saw Scioscia like we saw Landreau earlier, and it is unusual for a left-handed hitter against a right-handed pitcher to flinch like both Landreau and Scioscia just did. But that'll show you how that curveball exploded. You lose it, and you pick it up, and it's too late.
And here's Ron Renicky, born in Covina, California in 1956. Curveball inside, ball 1.
Well, you see, this year and last year, the Dodgers records against the Astros and the Reds, 81, 6-1. Reds 8-8, 1980. You see the record there.
Fastball misses. 2 balls and no strikes.
Ron Renicky, a brother of the Baltimore Orioles, Gary Renicky. Renicky showed us a good throwing arm, and last night he threw Poole out at third base in a fly ball that was medium deep right field. He's excellent running speed. He's the kid who had knee surgery on both knees middle of last season, but he's come back with that speed.
Foul bag. 2 balls and 1 strike. Renicky, 6-footer, 180 pounds. Dodgers #1 selection in the June 1977 free agent draft.
Renicky this year in the minor leagues at .316 with 9 home runs. Now let me see, 9 game winning RBIs, 15 home runs, and 94 runs batted in 126 ball games.
Gets by Ashby. There goes Garvey. He scored a wild pitch.
Well, this is not unusual for Nolan Ryan. It's so difficult with that curveball when he really snaps it off like that. Ashby tried to smother it in front of him but couldn't. It's wild pitch number 15 this year for Nolan Ryan. Don't have any stats for all the other pitchers in the major leagues, but I gotta believe that's high in both leagues.
That's a bundle. That is a bundle. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, no score. We're in the 2nd inning. It's popped straight up. Art Howe will fight the window panes and foul territory, makes the play. It's a tough ceiling here. So that ends the inning. We go into the bottom half of the 2nd inning. There is no score. And coming to bat, it'll be Howe, Spillman, and Reynolds. Art Howe will lead it off, and quickly, we'll take a look at last night's results. Dodgers beat Houston 3-0. Hooten had a 4-hitter. Astros lead was cut to a 1.5 over the Reds. Giants 3, San Diego 0. Cincinnati 10, Atlanta 2. Soto won his 10th. Knight and Oster had home runs. Pittsburgh 5, St. Louis 4. It's a strike. The Cardinals have lost 7 of the last 8, 4 in a row. Philadelphia 9, Chicago 2. Mike Schmidt at his 28th home run leads the major leagues. Matthews had 5 RBIs, and Montreal beat the Mets 6-3. Strike 2. Larry Parrish in that Montreal Met game, 4 RBIs, Expos 2.5 in front of St. Louis in National League East. Milwaukee 8, Detroit 6. Robin Yount 2 out, 3-run homer in the 9th, won it for the Brewers. Milwaukee only a half game out. Boston 5, Cleveland 4. Red Sox tied for Detroit. That win, Yastrzemski had a 2-run homer. Ball 1. Baltimore 1, New York 0. McGregor a 6-hitter. Texas 5, Minnesota 2. Putnam a 3-run homer. Seattle 8, Kansas City 3. California 11, Toronto 5, and Chicago beat Oakland 6-2. Those were last night's results as Howe hits a high hopper to the shortstop, Darryl Thomas. And there's one away.
Thomas playing, as you all know, almost every position on the diamond at one time or another. He has replaced Bill Russell, who left the game last night in the 5th inning. Russell has a stress fracture in his leg. He's had it for 3 years, Joe. They finally discovered it. Will require surgery. He's had a bad finger. He's dislocated last year. He's had problems with a bad wrist.
He said that the artificial surface makes it tough on him as we look at Harry Spillman. And after the season, Russell will have surgery. Ron Say is out. They've had a lot of injuries, these Dodgers. Spillman hits the first pitch to Davey Lopes, and they're 2 away. The Cardinals have taken a 2-0 lead over Pittsburgh at the end of 2. Orge a home run in the 2nd inning. Philadelphia-Chicago game postponed. Cincinnati, Atlanta 0-0, end of 1. Montreal 2, New York 1, end of 3. Cleveland 5, Boston 0, bottom of the 3rd. Milwaukee 0, Detroit 0 in the 3rd. Minnesota beat Texas. Here's Craig Reynolds.
Reynolds taking a lot of time after 2 quick outs. He wants to give Nolan Ryan a little bit breather on the bench. He took a lot of time at the on-deck circle. May even take a pitch.
Strike 1, he did. And there you see Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan hit a home run for us on our game of the week. Strike 2, says Bruce Fleming. Young son Steve is here with him.
Spanky, his nickname.
He'd have 1,000 words to say about whether they should use 4 or 6 umpires and about the money.
He's very active in the Umpires Association. During the strike, he and his son Steve umpired around the sandlots in Milwaukee.
Extra bases for Reynolds. It may be 3. He's going to try it. And he'll make it easily. The corners here in the Astrodome are very treacherous. Difficult to play the carom as we look at Reynolds and Don Leppert. There you see the section that juts out.
And it is exceptionally tough when a player comes in on the road, but even Cruz is at trouble. Cruz had a ball in the left corner last night, and the ball just stuck into the wall almost like a thud. And sometimes it'll hit a beam, and that baby might bounce 8-10 feet all the way back to the infield.
I talked to him about that, Tony, and he says every ball is different.
Yeah.
Just got to play it accordingly.
12th triple for Reynolds. That ties Reynolds for the National League with Richards at the San Diego Padres.
So he's on at 3rd, and this is a good doubles and triples ballpark. And there you see it. Herndon 8, Moreno 8, Templeton 8.
Whoa,
Nice play by Scioscia. Blocked that 55-foot curveball, and he saved the run. Big guy got in front of it nicely.
And Reynolds down at 3rd base had an excellent walking lead, Joe. If that ball had skipped a little bit away, with the pitcher up, he may have tried to come. You don't figure with 2 outs that Nolan Ryan is going to drive in this run.
Ball 1. Curveball again, it gets away, but he doesn't advance. I tell you, ask the first base umpire, he called it a strike. There's Reynolds. Joe West.
Well, he's got a funny way of going after the ball. That ball right there, reaching for it backhand, that's going to cause him some problems. He's going to have a ball doing it that way that's going to scoop between his legs one day. Those last two bounced up. It's not the proper way to go after it, I don't think.
1 ball, 2 strikes. His glove is not in a good position, but he's got that nice Italian rump in front of it, nice and wide. And that pasta that his mama fed him is working to great advantage on the 55-foot curveball. Curveball misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He's thrown nothing but breaking balls. Reynolds is at third. We have no score. We're in the bottom of the second. Reynolds has just tripled.
Astros really have to scramble. They have to manufacture runs. It is awfully tough for them to score, especially against this Dodgers staff, which is so good.
It's high. Reynolds has power pitching off the stretch. This is the man he wants to get. Terry Poole is the on-deck hitter.
Making it tough on himself, isn't he? 3-2 on Nolan Ryan. Not known for his bat.
There you see the on-deck batter, Terry Poole. Here's a big pitch. He walked in. He walked in. Third base on balls given up by Power. And that's what sets a manager to pacing. Ryan is on at first. Reynolds is on at third. And Terry Poole, who bounced out his first time up, is the batter. Davey Lopes has come in to talk as Poole waits. That's one of those simple conversations of, hey man, we can't make a play if you're going to walk people. You got to let them hit the ball.
I'll tell you, I learned Social was right there. He motioned out to Steve Garvey better to make sure that Garvey is playing behind Ryan at first base. Reynolds at third. Ryan, you can see Garvey playing behind him. It was Sosha who called it the attention of Garvey, the left-handed hitter up.
1 strike to count. 2 strikes on Terry Poole. 2 men out, says Sosha. This will be an interesting pitch now. They're way ahead. They can make it work right here for the 2 strike 1 ball count. He moved him back, setting up this one. Milwaukee 1, Detroit nothing. Bottom of the third. Ryan is at first, Reynolds is at third. With his control, here's your pitch of decision. He's got to make it happen right here. Line drive, and what a play by Garvey. He hit a bullet. Garvey, playing behind, as Tony pointed out, able to make that play. If he's holding him on, if there would have been a lapse there, if Sosha doesn't call it, they got a problem, Tony.
You bet. Saves a run, probably a double, maybe a triple if that ball wraps around down to that corner. Great play by Steve Garvey.
It's 0-0, Dodgers in Houston, but in Detroit, Milwaukee and Detroit are having a battle. Let's see what's happening in Detroit.
For those of you joining us now from the Dodger-Houston Astros game, Merle Harmon and Ron Luciano with you in Detroit, where the Brewers lead the Tigers by a score of 1-0 in the bottom of the third. Kirk Gibson batting, 3-2 count, tying run at third. Struck him out, and the inning is over. So Moose Haas comes up with a very big strikeout, and Gibson, who has led these Tigers in the second half of the season, very disgusted with himself. And Haas, who is giving manager Buck Rogers a fine job as a starting pitcher today, walks off the field with a 1-0 lead at the end of 3. And Ron Luciano, as an ex-football player, this guy is a very, very tough competitor.
Yes, he certainly is. But the one thing about him is that they say that maybe he will have trouble with a curveball. And you saw it right there. Curveball low out of the strike zone. He tries for it, does not get it.
Back here at the Astrodome, Darryl Thomas with the count of 1 ball and 2 strikes, the leadoff man here in the top half of the third inning, no score. Kirk Gibson, as you heard Merle Harmon and Ron Luciano really doing a job for Sparky Anderson and the Tigers in the second half. Not that time at bat. Did he go? No. Boston, 3 runs in the bottom of the third. At the end of 3, it's Cleveland 5, Boston 3. Waits against Eckersley. Minnesota beat Texas 7-3. That's the final score. Fastball misses. Darryl Thomas hitting at 260. Fouls it back. He has played everywhere.
He is a catcher if you need him. He does a good job everywhere. He can steal you a base. You look at the press guy for the Houston Astros and look at some of the things that Nolan Ryan has done. And yeah, he has been a pitcher who's been just barely over 500 lifetime in his career, but he hadn't played with very good ball clubs at times. Mets one time were in a great ball club. California Angels struggled along for a lot of years. 7 one-hitters aside from his 4 no-hitters. He's never had a no-hitter in the National League.
It's the second walk given up by Nolan Ryan. Here's the pitcher Power. He'll be looking for the bunt.
Looking for the bunt. Ryan is awfully tough to bunt, and you never know what Darryl Thomas is going to do. He could take off and move.
A bunt and a line drive. Power is a former catcher. I say that for whatever that means. He should be able to handle the bat.
He said he caught a little bit when he was in high school. He said, when I wasn't pitching, they wanted my bat in the lineup, so maybe a catcher. I said, ordinarily they'd put that guy in the outfield. Weren't they taking the chances? Well, like wherever they wanted me, I played.
Here comes Howe sneaking in at third. They may have a pickoff play. Bunted. Garner got way in behind Darryl Thomas.
Wasn't necessarily a pickoff with Nolan Ryan, but Ashby was looking out of the corner of his eye, I'm certain.
Tony, that's one of those plays that sometimes you call it "I'll be there." I mean, you give the catcher the sign that "I'll be there," and then the catcher answers you, and he simply says, "If I get the ball, I'll throw it to you." You don't put a play on per se with the pitch out, but it's an "I'll be there" kind of situation. 2-strike pitch. Curveball misses.
Joe, that thing with Garner coming over as he did the pitch before, that also serves the purpose with Spillman breaking in as he has to cover that side of the diamond for the bunt. That leaves Darryl Thomas a bigger lead. But with Garner sneaking behind him, he's got to be careful, and he might just lose that one step where they could get him at second base.
Popped in the air, foul. That's a strikeout. That's a 4th strikeout for Nolan Ryan. So, 1 man out. Davey Lopes with Darryl Thomas on at first base. So you've got a hit-and-run combination as we take a look at the Dodger bench. The opposing batters are hitting .191 against Nolan Ryan here in the Astrodome. Not exactly killing him on the road either. .205 average, but he's tough here. High, ball 1. Lopes takes a good look at Danny Ozark. If you had the luxury, Tony, I'd like to pitch out right here, but you couldn't do it. I think he's going on this pitch.
I can buy that.
But Ashby's in a little bit of a trap. Ryan has been a little while. Wasn't his good move. That was just a commercial move.
I'd throw over again.
Jim Russo, the Baltimore Super Scout, an interesting theory that Lou Brock confirmed on base stealers. Almost had him. That was pretty close. That was the good move and the good throw. Brock and Russo say it hurts the base runner when you don't throw over there. Just keep looking him back. See a shot of how close that was.
Well, it's just giving a base runner or a base stealer another chance to see your moves.
There he goes. Struck him out. Low throw. He's safe. Oh, baby, you sit back there. You can't blame Ashby. He's got to get a strike, but you feel like he's going to run.
Well, he gets a breaking ball again. A difficult one to throw on. Doesn't get a whole lot on the ball. But I really think the way base stealers are going now, that catcher has got to keep one thing foremost in that pitcher's mind, is get the hitter. They're going to steal on you anyway. They've taken so many of the bulk moves away from pitchers. Their hands are strapped in a lot of times.
There's strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sitting up there, you could feel he was going on there.
There's no doubt they've legislated against pitchers to get more offense in the game. Taking away bulk moves, lowered the mound several years back, put in all the artificial surfaces. You come close to a hitter these days, he either charges the mound or he files a grievance. So they're getting strapped year in and year out.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, but in the American League, when they throw at you, you don't have a chance to come back. They're sitting on a bench.
That's right.
You get awful brave when you can sit on a bench and throw at people. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He got him. Davey Lopes, that's the 5th strikeout for Nolan Ryan. He doesn't believe it. Doesn't make any difference.
He's got what? Is it 3 or 4 that he's gotten on his breaking ball? 4 on the breaking ball.
Here's Kenny Landreau. He was called out on strikes as Lopes heads back to the bench. I tell you, that Nolan Ryan can spray your bat rack with termites.
He's been working on a changeup the last 2 years, Nolan Ryan has, but he will not use it in the game. It's a changeup that he recalls having talked to Andy Messerschmidt about years ago.
Out of play. Tell you, if he throws you a changeup, Tony, I don't care how good it is. He does you a real favor.
Now, I think he's doing what Ron Goodrich started doing the last 2 years, saying, listen, when the fastball is gone and the hard slider's gone, Nolan Ryan is curveball in this case, I still want to pitch a few years and I'm going to have to start finessing. Tom Seaver's made a little bit of that transition, gone to a little more breaking stuff, off-speed stuff.
Down the left field line, drifting near the stands, Art Howe. He'll not have a play.
Say, when you watch Nolan Ryan throw, you wonder where his heat comes from, that 100-mile-per-hour fastball. All you've got to do is watch the lower part of his body and see how much of the leg and the rump section of his body gets in it. It's not all arm. It's like a chain reaction, like a whip, a bullwhip cracking.
You're never going to be a pitching coach if you use expressions like that. You got to come up rump part of his body. You got to use, arm discipline, location, velocity.
Center of gravity rotation.
One ball. Oh, he almost had Thomas. Looked like Ashby was going to throw. See, I can understand. I always refer to late and great Dizzy Dean. Oh, Diz would say, he can fire that ball. When he says fire that ball, I knew what he meant. Arm discipline. Oh, Diz would jump up and down if he heard that.
Let's check this out if he goes curveball. Fastball.
Here's where he's going to go. Curveball right now. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He has not been afraid to throw it. 3-2, 2-2.
Landreau can't guess because he's got 2 strikes on him. But he got him on a curveball the last time. He's been having some trouble. Only 1 RBI since August 31st. That's some 19 games. He got that last night. He blooped a single in the right center field. Fastball. And it's 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. He has walked 2. He has struck out 5. There is no score. We're in the 3rd inning. Darrell Thomas is on at second base. Cincinnati, Atlanta, 0-0, 3rd inning. Full foul.
They're looking further into the Nolan Ryan overpowering stat sheets. 300 or more strikeouts 5 times. That's a record. Watch the leg kick. That right there is where a Seaver or a Nolan Ryan, where he's poised on that right leg, where the pitchers say he has got it all together, where you can almost balance there, and you start that topple toward the mound. Some people say drive off the mound. But one of the reasons I think Nolan Ryan and the Seavers and the Robin Roberts and the Spahns never really have a whole lot of arm problems, serious arm problems, is because they use their lower body so well. The strain is taking off. A lot of the strain is taking off the arm. You can never remove it all.
Landreau waiting. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Fouled out of play once again.
Good crowd here. Got to be, what, 35,000 like they were last night?
Nolan Ryan, as you look at him pitch, and here it is again.
Right there is where they say he's got it all together. You can see him tuck that left shoulder, try and keep his body from opening too soon. And you can see the tremendous strain on an elbow on his shoulder. A distorted position, not a very natural position. Throwing a baseball overhand.
Foul back again. Pittsburgh 2, St. Louis 2. They're in the bottom of the 4th. Montreal 2, Mets 1, top of the 6th. We'll keep you right up to date Cleveland, Boston, 5-3 in the fourth. And there you see the strikeouts.
Valenzuela, who will go tomorrow for the Dodgers. Carlton, who broke the record, National League strikeout record.
Soto, Cincinnati right in there. Here's the 3-2 pitch once again. He walked in. That's third base on balls given up. Dodgers have yet to make a hit.
I do not believe Nolan Ryan, even though it's right-hander versus right-hander, wanted to pitch to Dusty Baker. Because if you give me 5 or 6 Dusty Bakers on a team, and I'll win you a lot of pennants. You don't hear much about this guy because of Say driving in all the runs so many years, and Garvey and the others in the pitching staff. I'll take this guy over a lot of those players.
Right at the second baseman, Garner. That ends the inning. The Astrodome, 0-0. Dodgers in Houston. And all of us here at NBC Sports were saddened this week upon learning of the death of lovely Tony Siliberto, wife of one of our most popular cameramen. We offer our prayers for you, George, and your little Frankie and Lana. Not much we can say at a time like this, but we hope that there is some consolation for you in knowing that your friends are thinking about you. Our hearts are heavy for you, boy. 2 balls and no strikes on Phil Garner. It's a strike. Garner came over August 31st from Pittsburgh for second baseman Johnny Ray, who's been starting for the Pirates, and pitcher Randy Neiman. Kevin Houston. 3 balls and 1 strike. Bauer has walked 3. He has struck out 1. He has allowed 1 hit. There's no score.
Garner, one of the players from the Astros who can go into the free agent market 15 days after the conclusion of the season.
Left field is going to drop for a base hit. So Garner is on. So the leadoff man is on. It brings up Tony Scott, who was called out on strikes his first time up. One of the things they want Scott to do more of is take some pitches, be a little more choosy up there. He's an aggressive hitter. He swings the bat.
You run that possibility, which is a bad one. If he starts taking more, he loses the aggressiveness. There's no fine line. It is not. He's gone.
Pitch out. They should get him.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, very close.
Yeah.
Phil thought that he had his foot on the bag and the tag was up high. He had a few words as he stood on the bag with the second base umpire, Dick Stella. It was a tough call, but what a throw by Socha on this pitch out.
Good
Gives
pitch
him a
out.
good ball to handle. Scott couldn't help him out on the pitch out. Let's watch the tag by Daryl Thomas, the shortstop. Stella right in on the play. It is awfully close. No matter what angle you replay that on, you're going to get a gripe in any situation. Was the heel on the bag and the tag up high around the knee area? We'll give you another angle from Harry Coyle, our director, and Mike Wiseman, our producer.
The ball was there ahead of him. It's not. It's where he tagged him. Scott right back up the middle. Daryl Thomas bobbles it. Can't get it. Scott is on.
He almost made a good play. He knew Scott would run. Probably may have had, was trying to feel it with one hand.
They give him an error.
Made a good play because he covered a lot of ground. Scott slaps the ball around quite a bit, so Daryl Thomas was not playing him up the middle.
Might add that last night Socha pitched out and was able to get a runner, and he pitched out here, and he's been doing it pretty much on his own, calling him. Scott, 6 of 9, has an Astro as far as stolen bases, but they're going to give Cruz a chance to swing that bat.
The one place you've got to give manager Bill Verdon credit is last night he had a couple of men thrown out, but he refuses to hold his men down. He still wants them to keep running. He knows he has to manufacture runs, and we could see Scott on the move.
1 ball, no strikes. I would think, Tony, with Cruz hitting, who's got his stroke back, that he'd be a little bit, unless he was about 70% sure, Scott wouldn't be going.
I think he's going on this pitch. Scott has stolen 16 bases this year. Nope.
Ball, 1 strike. Bottom of the 4th, Milwaukee, Detroit tied 1 apiece. Hefner a home run. Top of the 5th, Pittsburgh and St. Louis tied. Montreal 2-1. Bottom of the 6th. Cleveland 5-3 over Boston. Bottom of the 4th. Cincinnati, Atlanta 0-0. Bottom of the 3rd. And Minnesota beat Texas 7-3. Final score. Right up to date.
Scioscia is such a take-charge catcher, even though he's young. He alerted Power to step off in case he's moving and not take Scott for granted. He even does that with veteran pitchers, which is very impressive for Scioscia.
Now here's an interesting call. 2 balls and 1 strike, 1 out, no score. Scott's got good speed. Is he running? Is he not running? Because it's manager's delight. I say he's not going.
I say he is, but I've been wrong once in this situation. You know, many times with all the different steal signals going on between a manager, some guys are on their own. That's one sign. Some pick your pitch. Some you've got to go on this pitch. Some don't steal at all. That may be the case with a left-hander up in Cruz. So you could give 3 or 4 different signs to a runner like Scott.
It's 2 balls and 1 strike with 1 out. You play manager at home. What do you think? He's holding. High hopper over Garvey's head. Scott may be able to score. Up with the ball is Renicky. Scott is going to be held at 3rd.
Don Leppert found out about the young kid Ron Renicky's arm yesterday in last night's ball game when Poole tried to go from 2nd to 3rd. Here's Garvey, who has played 114 consecutive errorless games. An artificial surface hop. Might have been a double play on dirt and grass. Scott over the shoulder into the corner. Now he picks up his coach. Leppert at first, coming down the line, waving him on. Then when Renicky made the perfect relay throw to Davey Lopes, they decided to hold him. With 2 outs, they may have taken a chance, Joe, and sent him. 1 out, he can still score on the sacrifice fly. Now it's Ron Peranowski out.
Well, they've got first base open with 1 man out here, so it's a case of pitching carefully to the left-handed batter Ashby, and Howe, who is a .307 hitter, is the on-deck man. But his RBI is not that impressive. Howe has only driven in 33 runs, and he is a double play man as we look at Dave Goltz loosening up, and Bobby Castillo plays the protection man in case of the line drive hit down there. It's Goltz loosening up for the Dodgers. 1 man out. Scott is at 3rd. Cruz is on at 2nd base. A base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Cruz. Astros lead 2-0.
Joe, in the first inning with 2 men on, there's the Astros bench. Ashby hit the ball right on the nose. A line drive at Lopes. Hits the ball very hard once again. So the newfound late kick given him by Deacon Jones is working. Ashby has 4. He had 3 home runs out of last year. He has 4 this year, and all his home runs have come in the second half this year. So he's really hitting the ball a lot harder.
Scioscia out talking to Power, and Davey Lopes is there. Goltz has been loosening up. They're taking a look at the bullpen as Bruce Fleming walks out there. Ashby just picks him up. Base hit to drive in 2 runs. The Astros take the lead as we look at Bill Verdon.
Last year's manager of the year. A writer this morning used the term, there's Lasorda, used the term even-handed about Verdon. He was talking about Verdon that even though some of the players may not care for his move, but he's very consistent with them. They know what to expect from him. That's very important.
Ball 1 on Art Howe.
Many people are trying to figure out how Art Howe is able to play. He's got a torn Achilles tendon, and the other one is strained. A similar injury Bill Robinson to the Pirates, which requires surgery. He'll have surgery after the season.
It's a strike. Howe has the longest hitting streak in the major leagues this season, 23 games, as we looked at Ashby at first base.
He has excellent bat control, Art Howe. Man that went to a tryout camp off the sandlots of Pittsburgh and got a contract.
Out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One man out. 2-0. Astros lead. Ashby's at first. Outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
So I think it's interesting when you look at stats, and you can do a lot of things with numbers, but everybody says of the Houston Astros they don't have a whole lot of power. And they don't. But when you look at their home run total for this season, they've got 39. Astros opponents have only 36. They've out-homered their opponents, so that may be a more important stat than saying, you know, they don't have a whole lot of power.
3-2. I think sometimes, too, Tony, people, when they talk about power, think only in terms of home runs. As we look at the Dodger bench, sort of. I mean, doubles and triples have to figure in the power. And this is a ballpark with a home run. You're not going to hit that many.
Like Kansas City in the American League, the Royals.
No Astro has ever led in a major department, hitting, home runs, RBIs.
Astros have hit 16 home runs in the Dome. Their opponents have hit just 7 for this season. An idea what kind of pitcher's park this is.
There goes Ashby. Line drive down the left field line. A foul ball. Foul ball. That was just barely foul. John Kibler right down on top of the play. Bruce Fleming was going down to third base to make the call there, but there's the man who called it foul.
Howe had he really had a good pitch to hit a breaking ball that just hung inside, belt high, just rolled, and he hit it so hard it hooked foul. He said he's been doing a lot of that. I was talking to him in batting practice. He said one of the reasons is, he said, I'm a back foot hitter generally. He said, but with that Achilles tendon tear, I can't stand my back foot. I'm getting out in front way ahead of a lot of pitchers.
Right field deep. Way back goes Renicky.
Look out.
Ashby kind of nonchalant it back, and Renicky made a believer out of him as he went sliding back to first. 2 men out.
It is always nice to see somebody with a good arm, but it's even more to see a young man like Renicky not afraid to use it and throw behind him. Very accurately, one hop, and came very close to getting Ashby. The 2 middle infielders decoyed Ashby for just a second. Darryl Thomas and Lopes on the fly ball, so he didn't pick up the ball quite in time.
Harry Spillman hit the first pitch the last time up and bounced out. Garvey is behind the base runner Ashby at first. And there's a strike.
Earlier in the ball game, you saw the men on base. Garvey made a great play to stop a line drive and prevent a Houston run by playing behind the runner.
Her ball is high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Milwaukee, Detroit, 1-1 the 5th. Detroit batting. Straightaway center field. Landreau has plenty of room. He makes the catch. That ends the inning, but it's a good inning for Houston. They scored 2 runs. Ashby driving in both runs. And at the end of 3 innings, the score here, Houston 2, Dodgers nothing. Astros 2-0 as we go into the 4th inning, and Steve Garvey will lead it off. Garvey, who has played in 937 consecutive games.
5th on the all-time list. Lou Gehrig, of course, 1st.
I don't think that record will ever be broken.
2,130.
Strike 1.
He is still grunting now. That ball really, it was a fastball, but the ball really sailed away from Steve Garvey. And many times the ball will pick up scuffs off the artificial surface. You might recall that a few years ago they went from horsehide to cowhide, and the cowhide is not as tough, so they will change balls much more frequently now than they did, call them in the olden days, if you will. But this coarse artificial surface will pick up scuffs. Noli wanted that ball. Boy, you get a little scuff mark, just a little bit, and you can make her do tricks.
1 strike to count on Garvey.
Look out. Wow.
Inside. Garvey's collected 200-plus hits 7 times in his career. He has really been a consistent player. And his contract will be up. Bounced foul. They have a youngster on the bench, Mike Marshall, who has some tremendous stats as we look at Danny Ozark at third. At Albuquerque, Marshall was a valuable player in the Pacific Coast League. But Garvey has done it here. So Al Campanis and Peter O'Malley and the Dodgers, Lasorda, they have a nice problem. Pull foul.
Talk about some of the stats of the kids. The man you mentioned, Mike Marshall, 34 home runs, 137 runs batted in 128 games. Another kid named Candy Maldonado. Some names to conjure.
He said to say hello to all my friends in Puerto Rico.
He had 104 RBI season with 21 home runs.
Mark Bradley's another one. He's from Elizabethtown, Kentucky. E-Town. He said say hello to all are here.
That Albuquerque team the Dodgers have apparently was loaded.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Steve Garvey. Milwaukee, Detroit, bottom of the 5th. Big ball game, all tied, 1 apiece. Boston, Cleveland, 6-3 in the bottom of the 5th. Outside. That's the final score. That's the only one we have today. Minnesota over Texas, 7-3. Texas lost some tough 1-run ball games. Doc Meditz the other night.
Well, here's another 3-2 count. Noli going to go breaking stuff. He's done it a couple times today in this situation. Fastball.
He got him with the fastball and the grunt. 6 strikeouts.
Here comes Mel Wright now. I wonder if something happened to Ryan. He's out very quickly after the strikeout to talk to Nolan Ryan. I didn't notice any pain on the part of Ryan after he threw this pitch. Quite a story, Mel Wright, who has what, little gold nuggets imprinted in his lungs?
I don't know.
Cancer a few years back, and he says he feels no after effects. Nolan Ryan on that last pitch, 3-2 to Garvey, threw the fastball. Well, he got Mel Wright laughing on the way off, so apparently he's all right. Here it is. See if you can pick something up. Fastball that just runs in on the fist, the belt. I don't know what made Clyde Wright come out. I'm sure he didn't come out to say, hey, you still got a no-hitter going. I say Clyde Wright, old left-handed pitcher, Mel Wright.
Foul back by Guerrero. Well, his grunting is all right. You can hear it. I'll tell you what, we'll not say anything, and you just listen. Our field microphone will pick it up.
That's the breaking ball. He only grunts on fastball.
If he grunts enough, we can get him an after card.
Call his pitches every time he grunts. It's a fastball. Might be a little late.
Let's see if we get it this time. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. That was a curveball, no doubt about it. Oh, I wish my friend the scientist would tell me that's an optical illusion. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Guerrero. 1 man out, nobody on, 2-0, Houston leading. We're in the 4th. Another curveball.
I had Mike Marshall, the relief pitcher with the screwball, explain to me in scientific terms what makes a curveball break one time, and also a screwball. He started getting the Bernoulli theory, an Italian friend of yours. I said, Mike, stop, it's beyond me.
You heard it that time, and he jammed him. Fly ball to right field. Guerrero. Bernoulli had a high curveball to begin with. Socha. It's kind of interesting. Let's see if we can pick up that grunt on Socha, because he should give him a fastball. I would think he'd start him out with a fastball.
Noli really hasn't had, from what we've heard about him this year, we haven't seen him pitch this year, has not had the kind of control they've been talking about. He's been behind some hitters. He's run the count to 3-2, but he's been able to make the pitch when he's had to.
Strike 1. But the grunt is what gets you.
Cheo Cruz in left field. Jose, 3 brothers played in the major leagues at one time. Heidi's still there. They say he's really improved on left field, Joe. He's really worked hard at it. He had a bad rap.
Oh, and in baseball, those reputations stay with you. 1 strike to count. Scale of 10, that was about a 4 as far as the bubble.
Ryan has had 15 or more strikeouts 21 times. Isn't that unbelievable? He's had
6.
He's had 10 or more strikeouts 131 times in his major league career.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Pulled foul. Curveball. It's 2-0. We're in the 4th inning. Scioscia was called out on strikes on the curveball, and that's got to be running through his mind right now. If Ryan throws a fastball, you'd have to think it would be outside the strike zone to set up the 2-2, which would be a curveball. Let's see what happens.
Fastball. Wow.
Way high and outside, and he got him.
Whoa, that
That's
ball
7
exploded.
strikeouts. It really just went sailing out there. 2-0. Houston leading the Dodgers. We're in the bottom half of the 4th inning here at the Astrodome. Very aesthetic shot.
Aesthetic? Nice, I like it. A little culture since you heard those opera singers before the game last night.
High chopper to Davey Lopes. There's 1 out.
Remind you, next week on our Game of the Week, we really haven't picked a game yet because there are so many things happening in so many divisions. So we hope you'll tune in and check your listings to see the game in your area. Danny Ozark, Manny Mota, Mike Scioscia talking about Terry Forster, who hasn't really contributed that much coming off arm problems, out of the bullpen. And Tommy Lasorda really has a young bullpen with Stewart and Howe. Some of the other kids down there.
Tony, it hasn't gone on the scoreboard. Yes, just went on now. 2-0. Cincinnati leading Atlanta in the bottom of the 5th. Householder, a home run, as Ryan takes the pitch for ball 1. Bereni against Necro. Cincinnati 2, Atlanta nothing. Householder, a home run. Pittsburgh 3, St. Louis 2 in the bottom of the 6th. Orange has a home run in that game. Philadelphia, Chicago rained out. Montreal 2, New York 1, bottom of the 6th.
I would think one of the possibilities for our game next Saturday, Milwaukee and Detroit meet again.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. It is 3-0. Milwaukee, Detroit, we're in the bottom of the 6th up there. It's 1-1. Home run by Hebner. Haas against Wilcox. Cleveland 6, Boston 3 at the end of 5.
You know, Joe, when Detroit went up to Boston, lost 4 straight up there, and then lost 5 in a row after that, or including that, a lot of people thought they were finished. Bounced right back. Sparky's got the pitching staff going.
A good young ball club up there. Boston and Detroit identical in the standings this morning, 26-18. Ryan lines one in the right center field. Landro cuts it off. Ryan has himself a base hit.
He doesn't have that pleasure too often, Nolan Ryan.
So there's 1 out, 1 man on. Here's Terry Poole. He bounced out in the 1st inning and lined hard to Garvey in the 2nd.
The stall for a little time as now a couple of pitchers begin working for the Dodgers. Scioscia out to talk with Powers. Terry Forster, he's the left-hander, and Dave Goltz, the right-hander.
Tom Lasorda, Danny Ozark.
You could make a good case for Tom Lasorda as manager of the year. When you think of what he's had to do with that bullpen, revamping it with the kids, he made Valenzuela starter this year, who's come up, maybe the Cy Young, along with Carlton, maybe some others. And he's had all the injuries that you mentioned earlier, Joe.
And he's also had some fellows who, Reggie Smith has hardly played at all. Forster hasn't played that much. Strike, says Bruce Fleming. Yes, sir. Terry Poole says, as the third base umpire. So I don't have to ask anybody. I saw it myself.
John Kibler did not make the call. He did not give help because he was not asked. Did Poole get his bat back in time? And I think he had his bat back in time.
He called it a strike right now, and Scioscia backhanded the ball once again. Curveball, pull foul. He gets in front of the ball, but that's not the way you should catch that ball. He's got to have that glove coming up. The face of that glove should be up. If he catches it, fine, but the main thing is to keep the ball in front of you when it hits the dirt. High.
It was an interesting call. He called fastball, and in motion, he wanted to pitch high and away. That's something that you don't ordinarily call, but I think in this ballpark, and Poole he's not a pull hitter, does not have great power, but you use this ballpark, the big part is in the alleys, in center field, and you get that lazy fly ball in the outfield. The guy hits it 400 feet in this ballpark, and it dies. It's going away again. Pitch him away, play him away.
He hit that one in the hole. Ryan stops at second. Poole is on at first. One man out, and the batter is Garner.
Could be it for the kid. With Garner coming up. Forrester and Goltz should be ready. Garner's coming up, a right-handed hitter, so Goltz may be the guy coming in.
Montreal 4, Mets 1. That's in the top of the 7th. As Lasorda comes out, one man out here. Bottom of the 4th, he's going to make a pitching change and bring in Goltz. There you see the change. Bobby Castillo gives him a pat, and Power will leave the game. A wide shot of the Astrodome. Dave Goltz comes on. Signed as a free agent by the Dodgers with the Minnesota Twins. From Pelican Rapids, Minnesota, Dave Goltz. He inherits a situation of Nolan Ryan on at second base. Poole is on at first base. Garner is the batter. One man out. Bottom of the 4th. Houston's out in front, 2-0. So Garner with a chance to add to the Houston lead here. It's 2-0 in the bottom of the 4th. Base runners at first and second. Garner walked his first time up, stole a base, singled in the 3rd inning, but then was out trying to steal. And Goltz in relief of Power.
Goltz with the sinker slider, looking for the double play right now. He has really struggled since he came over from the Twins in the American League. Goltz has. I recall the Dodgers went after the 2 free agents that year. Don Stanhouse was released, and Goltz.
Astros scored their 2 runs in the 3rd inning. There's the strike. Garner opened the inning with a base hit, but then he was out trying to steal. Scott was safe on an error. Cruz doubled to right, sending Scott to 3rd. So with base runners at 2nd and 3rd, Ashby singled to center field. Drive into 2 runs, and that's how we stand right now, with Garner a chance to drive in another one with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Strike 2 over the inside corner, says Bruce Fleming.
He was looking breaking ball. You could see the way he strided into the ball. He's looking for the slider away. He guessed wrong, but he didn't go after it. It's a sinker that really bore in on his hands. He is one of the smartest players going. I think he will admit, Phil Garner, that he learned an awful lot from Tim Foley, and I'm sure Tim Foley would turn that around and say the same about Garner.
1-2 pitch. Inside, tried to jam him. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. See the defense, they kind of bunch him up the middle.
Landreau playing a very shallow center field, as you see, so Nolan Ryan would have a difficult time scoring on a ball at the center field. You know about Reinicke's arm in right field, and Dusty Baker's as good as anybody in left, defensively.
High hopper to Guerrero. He goes to second. There's one out, and there's no throw by Davey Lopes. Guerrero's only played 9 games at third base this season. May have cost him. So there are 2 outs. Ryan moves to third. Garner is on at first, and here is Scott. Scott was called out on strike, safe on an error, and scored in the 3rd. 2 men out. Outside, ball 1.
Tom Lasorda keeps his bullpen going down there. He would like to win both halves. That is Tom Niedenfuhr, the right-hander, who is a very hard thrower, who has joined Terry Forster, the left-hander.
Outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Golds thought he might have had a strike on the outside corner.
Lasorda would like to win the second half for the reason that he would get the home field advantage. In the mini playoffs, 4 of the 5 games would be played in Chavez Ravine, Los Angeles, if he wins both halves.
Right back up the middle, Golds has it. Easy toss to Garvey. So Golds does the job, puts out the fire.
Right here, Nolan Ryan goes to the 5th. It'll be Ron Renicky, Darryl Thomas, and Dave Goltz scheduled to hit. Dodgers, no runs, no hits. They've committed 1 error. The Astros, 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors. Could be trouble in the right field corner, but Terry Poole's there. We get the semi-line drive off the bat of Renicky. Terry Poole. Ryan, through 4, has struck out 7, has walked 3. Now it'll be Darryl Thomas. Thomas walked in the 3rd and stole a base. 2 runs the Astros have came in the 3rd inning. A 2-run single by Alan Ashby. With Scott and Cruz aboard. Fouled off. Darryl Thomas swinging late. 1 strike. Nolan Ryan, lifetime against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Just 1 win and 8 losses. This is his 16th start lifetime against the Dodgers. Goes to a breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out. Astros 2, Dodgers nothing. We're in the 5th. Joe, think of a pitcher, if you can, that you caught who was close to Nolan Ryan.
Rex Barney.
Rex Barney, did he have the curveball that Nolan Ryan did?
No, but he had as good a fastball, I think.
As good a fastball as anybody ever. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 out. Ryan pitched to Darryl Thomas. He barely got a piece of the breaking ball. Hard Howe over to Spillman, out number 2. Darryl Thomas just protecting the plate, just slaps at the breaking pitch from Nolan Ryan. So now we will have a pinch hitter for the Dodgers. It'll be Jack Perconti, little second baseman. He was called up at the end of last year and filled in for Davey Lopes very well down the pennant stretch. Another kid named Sachs, also a pretty good second baseman. Dodgers have up on their roster. The rosters were expanded for the month of September. 1 strike, fastball from Ryan.
This is the little guy you may have read about after the season last year, driving home in Arizona, got caught in the middle of a gun battle, he and his wife, almost taken as hostages.
Fouled off. 0-2 with 2 outs. Astros 2, Dodgers nothing. Yeah, that was some story.
Oh, scary. Just driving home after the season, and he said it was like in the movie. They couldn't believe it.
Perconti hit a cool .346 this year in the minor leagues with 1 home run and 58 runs batted in. Nolan Ryan gets strikeout number 8. So he will go into the 6th inning still with a no-hitter in his sight. Looking into the booth, Al Rosen, the president of the Houston Astros, who replaced Tal Smith, a very popular man. Terry Forster's first pitch, way inside, moves Cruz back. 2-0, Astros lead. Say one thing, Al Rosen with his assistant, Tony Siegel, there are the Forster stats. Coming off the arm problems he's had year in and year out. Rosen made 2 pretty big deals when he got Scott just before the strike and Phil Garner just after the strike. 2 men have really keyed this ball club and kept them out in first place in the Western Division for the 2nd season. 2 balls, no strikes to Cheo Cruz. 2-1. Tony Siegel, one of the assistants, came over from Milwaukee a couple of years ago, has also been a big help to Al Rosen. Slider. Socha can't believe it. Neither can Forster, asking Bruce Fleming where the pitch was, but it goes to 3 balls and 1 strike.
And there was a little guy sitting behind him. took that shot. Donald Davidson, who's been in baseball all his life, been a big help in rebuilding his club.
Broke the bat, but it could be trouble. Renicky over, takes it on a big hop. So Cruz is out. He's been on base 3 times today. A walk in the first inning, a double in the third. He scored a run, and now a single to right field. He can run. Now with Cruz at first base, the Astros leading 2-1. Ashby will turn around to the right side after driving home 2 runs, 2 RBIs. The only 2 runs in this ball game from the left side. He may be bunting. He's a better hitter left-handed than right. He's hitting. Drill to left field. Dusty Baker back to the warning track. He makes an outstanding catch, and Cruz will have to return to first. Baker takes a sure extra base hit from Alan Ashby.
Ashby, if you notice one thing about him, is his aggressiveness at the plate. He doesn't seem to be guiding that ball, hoping that it falls. He is just swinging hard, and Dusty Baker just right at the fingertips makes a great catch of this ball. Just does get it, running towards that wall. Here's a look at it once more.
Joe, I think when you look where Dusty Baker started from, he was playing a very shallow left field for Al Ashby. Ashby, the man who was, well, the Toronto Blue Jays let go. Never thought he'd hit. Sure has improved here. Now it is Art Howe with Cruz on first base. 1 ball from Forster.
And I was paying particular attention if he would do his leg kick from the right-hand side like Ashby did from the left-hand side, and he did. So it means a lot to him in his timing.
Astros 2, Dodgers nothing. We're in the bottom of the 5th with 1 out. 1 ball, no strikes on Howe. Cruz has totaled just 4 bases this year at 11 attempts. Fouled out of play by Howe. In 1980, Cruz had 36 stolen bases in 47 attempts. I've got to believe something's wrong with his legs. He's had some problems. There you see the stolen base stats we just gave you, supplied to us by our figure Filbert, Steve Dans. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Astros with 7 base hits. The Dodgers have not gotten a hit off Nolan Ryan. Howe is grounded out and flied out. Cruz is going. Low pitch from Forster. He steals his 5th base of the year. What a jump he had on Forster. Forster saw him going, but he couldn't change his delivery. He saw him going and he couldn't move. So again, he backhands him.
He doesn't help himself. He loses at least 2 steps with that, Tony. Forster didn't do a good job, especially for a left-hander, holding him on. But Sochi didn't help himself on that at all by backhanding that ball and then taking the extra step to throw it.
So Jose Cruz continues to have a good day. A walk, a double, a run scored, a single, a stolen base. Scoring position for Art Howe. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Astros 2, Dodgers nothing. Check swing, fouls it off. Count goes 2-2. Jose Cruz has been getting a pretty big lead. Don Leppert, the third base coach, has been helping him out by watching the shortstop, Darryl Thomas, in the event of a pickoff play. Keeps edging a little bit further and farther off toward third base. This Houston ball club likes to run, not as much this year as last year. There's your count. Howe at the plate. Ground ball, Thomas to his right. He'll have a long throw. He pulls Garvey, almost pulls Garvey off the bag. But Howe, with that gimpy leg, couldn't beat it out. Nice play by Thomas.
He backhands the ball and really has to brace himself, but he had the advantage of Howe running.
You really saw a good shot of Darryl Thomas looking the ball right into his glove. That's the play right there for a shortstop going in the hole, where the tendency is to try and hurry your throw to first base, and you might. He plants the right foot, gets the long overhand throw, but you have a tendency to start pulling off the ball to throw to first base, but Thomas did not. He made a nice play. Now Joe Pittman will pinch hit for Harry Spillman. Pittman a right-handed hitter, Spillman left.
Top of the 8th, Tony, 4-2. Montreal over the Mets. Top of the 7th, Pittsburgh 3, St. Louis 2. Bottom of the 7th, Cincinnati leading Atlanta 2-0. 7-3, Cleveland over Boston, bottom of the 7th, and Milwaukee and Detroit tied 1 apiece, top of the 8th. What a ball game that is over in Detroit. And Merle Harmon and Ron Luciano there. We've got a 2-0 game here, and Ryan working on a no-hitter. Ryan has struck out 8. He is not allowed to hit, and we're in the bottom of the 5th.
Joe Pittman goes into this ball game with a .271 batting average. He's got a runner in scoring position in Cruz at second base with 2 outs. 1 strike from Terry Forster. Outside, 1-1. The Astros, like the Yankees, so many other teams who have the great bullpens, are a difficult club to come back on. Partly because the dome is so hard to get extra base hits and home runs. You've got a single guys. There's Cruz at second. But also you get a Sambito and a Smith and a LaCourte coming out of your bullpen. It's bound to help you. Joe Pittman, 1 ball, 1 strike off Forrester. Slider inside, pickoff attempt. Ball gets by. Cruz will not be able to go to third base. Lopes sneak behind him. The throw from Scioscia off the glove of Lopes, but Cruz falls down and can't advance to third. It's a difficult play for Lopes, having to take a hard throw from the catcher on the run. Now you see Cruz trying to scramble, but he can't make it.
He got a bad start out of the blocks. He needs those radial shoes for that wet weather. He really was spinning his wheels. He had some ideas, but just couldn't do it.
2 balls, 1 strike to count on Joe Pittman, pinch hitting for Harry Spillman. Chopper going to be trouble. Darryl Thomas will have to hurry. Guerrero tries to cut it off. Cruz, nice play by Davey Lopes, Joe. Cruz had thoughts of coming home all the way from second base, but Lopes came over from the second base spot and backed up the play and saved the run.
If he'd have played spectator, they would have been able to score. You'll see it when Guerrero goes over. Now, Guerrero doesn't get the ball, but more importantly, he screens Darryl Thomas, and he doesn't get the ball. And now their momentum carries them forward, and the only man that could really make the play was Davey Lopes, who very alertly came over from second base. So it's an infield hit, and it puts base runners at first and third, and Reynolds is the batter.
So you really got to like the way Pedro Guerrero, who has played just 9 games as third, as you said earlier, how aggressively he plays. If you're a shortstop, you want that third baseman to get everything he can, because had the ball been fielded cleanly by Darryl Thomas with Pittman running, he was not going to throw him out. Now with runners at first and third and 2 outs, it'll be Craig Reynolds. Pittman has 4 stolen bases in 8 attempts. Wouldn't be a bad play to send him. If he's thrown out, ground ball. Darryl Thomas will go to first base to Garvey. So Forrester pitches out of it after 5 here in the Astrodome. Nolan Ryan will go to the 6th with a no-hitter. He has 8 strikeouts, but right now there is some activity. The game between Milwaukee and Detroit. Let's go there.
And for you fans watching the exciting game in Houston, we have one going on in Detroit. I'm Merle Herman with Ron Luciano. The Tigers are coming to bat at the bottom of the 8th. The Brewers have just scored 3 to take a 4-1 lead in Whitaker. First ball hitting bounces to Cooper for out number 1. The score was tied at 1 going into the top of the 8th inning when, with 1 out, Robin Yount had an infield hit. Cooper singled to center. Ted Simmons hit what could have been a double play ball back to the pitcher, Milt Wilcox, but it slid off his glove. The shortstop, Alan Trammell, made the play at first, and the lead run scored as Yount scored from third base. Then Ben Ogilvy, hit the next pitch into the right field seats for a 2-run homer, and the Brewers have taken a 4-1 lead. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. The winner of this game could be in first place in the Eastern Division of the American League if Cleveland holds a 6-3 lead over the Boston Red Sox, and that game is now in the 7th inning. Alan Trammell hitting to Howell, and they're 2 down in the bottom of the 8th inning. So that's what's happened here is happening here in Detroit. And for you fans watching the game in Houston, let's go back to see what's happening with that no-hitter.
All right, thank you, Merle. Ron Luciano back here in the Dome. There's your score. Houston 2, Los Angeles nothing. Davey Lopes leading this inning off. Runs the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes off Nolan Ryan, who has 8 strikeouts and allowed 3 walks. He just blew it by him. You bet the appeal goes down to the first base umpire, Joe West, so Nolan Ryan has strikeout number 9. No runs, no hits, 1 error for the Dodgers. The Astros, 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors. Now it'll be Kenny Landreau, who was called out on strikes in the first inning and walked in the third. The Dodgers have left 3 base runners, the Astros 9. Off the fist, a breaking ball up high, but it broke so sharply, Garner will throw out Landreau. There are 2 outs. Nolan Ryan has now retired 9 consecutive Dodgers. Last man to get on was Landreau back in the third. The crowd is starting to feel a little bit of this because you could hear them applauding more and more each time that Ryan goes to 2 strikes. And for the first time on a routine ground out, you heard a little bit of a cheer. 2 outs. Dusty Baker. He's grounded out twice to second base. Big curveball from Ryan. Took a little bit off. 1 strike. Now he is starting to gain a little bit of his control, Joe.
Let up on that curveball and got an easy strike.
Another breaking ball, strike 2. Baker doesn't like it, but very quickly on 2 vicious curveballs, Nolan Ryan goes no balls and 2 strikes. Listen to the crowd. Standing in the Astrodome for Nolan Ryan. We will go to the last of the 6th here in the Astrodome as Ryan in the back of your picture strikes out 10 with a score here. Houston 2, Los Angeles nothing. Nolan Ryan will lead off the bottom of the 6th for the Astros. He got a standing ovation when he came from the dugout to the on-deck circle and stepped in. He has struck out 10. He has his no-hitter going, as you know, going into the 7th when he takes the mound. He has a walk and a single in this ball game. 2 strikes very quickly from Terry Forster to Nolan Ryan. Way outside, 1 and 2. Nolan Ryan, who today with 10 strikeouts for the 135th time in his major league career has struck out 10 or more. He has 4 no-hitters, tied with Sandy Koufax in that department. Forster gets Ryan for out number 1. Nolan Ryan has never pitched a no-hitter in the National League. Now, it'll bring up Terry Poole. Houston with a 1.5 lead over the Cincinnati Reds. Ground ball, breaking ball from Forster, Lopes, Garvey, 2 outs. The Astros needed a big game and some key hitting. Today's ball game, after today only 8 games remaining. J.R. Richard, who has pitched 2 simulated ball games this year, and Bill Verdon was kind of thrilled, although he said at times he may not have his complete coordination back, but is he allowed to hit in those 2 simulated games? It's hard to get hitters to hit against him, I know that.
I mean, by simulated games, they have 9 on the side, and he gets 3 outs, sits on the bench, and they do as much as they can to make it the game. It just doesn't get out there and throw.
Phil Garner, 1 strike from Forster. JR's in good spirits.
He really is. He was needling and everything else before last night's game. It just does. And Mike Ivey's another one that we've kind of forgotten about, who had some problems, who was in good spirits. Mike, who went through a depression period, and the Houston club very patiently staying with him, and he seems to be on the road to recovery.
1 ball, 1 strike to Phil Garner. Astros lead 2-0. Good slider from Forster. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Big base hit in the ball game has come off the bat of Al Ashby. Single for 2 RBIs. 2-2 to Garner.
You got to be ready with Dole Forstner out there as we look at Nolan Ryan on the bench.
4 no-hitters. He pitched 2 in 1973 versus Kansas City, 1 against Detroit. 74, he no-hit Minnesota. 75, he no-hit Baltimore. Forrester gets Garner.
Joe Garagiola with Tony Koufax here at the Astrodome, where the story is right in the center of the diamond. Nolan Ryan. He has struck out 10. He has walked 3. He is not allowed a hit. 1 strikeout in the first, Landreau. Guerrero and Socia in the second. Power and Lopes in the third. Garvey and Socia in the fourth. He got the pitcher in the fifth. He got Lopes and Baker in the sixth. Nolan Ryan has been in command. And Steve Garvey will lead it off. Time is called. Some lights are on in the press box, and the umpires are calling time. Ryan checking his defense. They haven't been that busy. Cleveland 7, Boston 5, top of the 8th. The fans know they're in on something. 0-1.
There has not been a ball hit hard off Nolan Ryan in this ball game. Ron Renicky hit a semi-line drive in the 5th, but it wasn't hit that hard either. It was more of a looping line drive.
Strike 1, a curveball. Fans are reacting, and I'll tell you, I think they'll pretty much tell you what's happening. Let's listen to them. One ball, 2 strikes. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. St. Louis 5, Pittsburgh 3, top of the 8th. Cincinnati leading Atlanta in the 8th, 2-0. Home run by Householder. Garner has it. One out.
11 in a row now for Nolan Ryan.
Last base runner was Landreau in the 3rd inning. He walked. Guerrero struck out and flying to right. Strike 1.
No doubt that the hitters are going up there trying to hit the fastball as Guerrero just did, because it looks like Ryan's curveball is all but untouchable at this point.
Really snapping off.
And he has changed speeds on it starting last inning.
Curveball. Fans, they want everything he throws now. 1 ball and 1 strike, 1 out the count. Reynolds has it.
Whoa.
Got him.
Curveball once again. Show you how good Nolan Ryan's curveball is. That ball was a hanging curveball, but because hitters cannot look for it, he still gets the weak ground ball to short. Reynolds once again does not throw the ball well to first base. Continue to think he's got trouble with his arm. Ryan keeps on going.
Here's Socia. He struck out in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th. Hit deep to right center field. Poole going back. He makes the catch. close as they've come to breaking a no-hitter. Ryan, the end of 7, a no-hitter. We'll be right back. Houston leading 2-0. Here's the 7th inning stretch.
Bill Vernon considers the man in right field, Terry Poole, his best outfielder, maybe his best all-around player. Here's a reason why, as he preserves Nolan Ryan's no-hitter with this great catch in right center field. Terry Poole.
Here is Tony Scott to lead it off, and it's strike 1. Poole has not made an error, and he just saved the no-hitter for Nolan Ryan. 28th inning, will be facing Renicky, Thomas, and the pitcher's spot. 6 outs away, Nolan Ryan. He leads by 2. 2-0 is the score. We're in the bottom of the 7th. 2 strikes on Tony Scott. Popped up. Lopes is going out. Renicky coming in. Lopes says, I'll take it, and he does. And the Dodgers get some action in their bullpen.
Dave Stewart, young right-hander. Boy, they've got a good young bullpen. Steve Howe from the left side. Stewart, the kid Niedenfuhr, Tom Niedenfuhr, a right-hander. 4 men of that bullpen who are doing the work, average about 23, 4 years of age.
Here is Cruz, who's had a real good day. He's 2 for 2, walked once, he scored a run, he has stolen a base. All 1. The story is Nolan Ryan, 6 outs away. 2 balls and no strikes now. Gary Forster in relief. Fastball misses, 3-0.
You know, a while ago we had that shot of Nolan Ryan. I'm sure that there's still a lot of taboos in this game, a lot of superstitions, but I think most of the time when you looked at Nolan Ryan moving around, he was trying to talk to Reynolds and trying to talk to a couple of other guys. So they may want to be quiet, but didn't look like Nolan wanted to be quiet.
3 balls and 1 strike to count. I'll tell you, Tony, he knows there's a no-hitter going on, because if his own teammates didn't tell him, Forster will make the play himself. Cruz is out. The opposition will provide that service.
He has been through it many times before. He has left the dugout now, apparently either gone up to the runway or to the clubhouse. JR, but he has 4 no-hitters, as we told you, Nolan Ryan. He has 7 one-hitters, so he's gone late in the ball games, maybe as many times as anybody in baseball history with this kind of situation.
2 outs. Ball 1. This is Ashby. Now, we talked about the kick of the leg from the left side. From the right side, he does the same thing. As we look at the Dodger bench, Lasorda and Monty Basco. One ball, 1 strike. Houston bullpen have a man throwing.
Gordy Platson.
2 men out, nobody on. Bottom of the 7th inning, Houston leading 2-0. Outside.
You know, I was thinking about Ashby batting, who's had a big RBI. J.R. Richard. Nolan Ryan is somewhere behind them. But I'm wondering, a guy like Ashby who's catching Ryan, he's at the bat right now. He can't be thinking an awful lot about his hitting. You think he's thinking about going out for next inning in this ball game?
He probably thought about it on the bench. I would think right now he's concentrating pretty much on hitting, but I think your point is well taken, to take something away from you. You got to be worried about or thinking about, what can I do? Can I give him that little extra help? 3-1 pitch. Pulled it foul. Steve Yeager, who is the protection man down there, almost made himself a fine play. Yeager, fine catcher. Socia has just won the job. Jerry Grody is the number 3 catcher here. Yeager, Ferguson has gone over to the California Angels.
Perhaps Sandy Koufax is looking in out in California. And I'm sure pulling for Nolan Ryan. They're tied at 4 no-hitters each.
3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs. He walked him. Ashby draws the base on balls. Brings up Art Howe. Howe bounced out, flying to right, bounced to the shortstop in the 5th. He's 0 for 3. Ashby on first. He's the big man in this game. He drove in both Houston runs in the third inning when he singled to center field with Scott at third and Cruz at second. And there you see him. Garvey behind him. Ball one. In the eighth inning, Renicky, Thomas, and the pitcher spot for the Dodgers.
Well, you've got guys like Reggie Smith, Rick Monday available to pinch hit. Veterans, might see them next inning.
There's the strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jay Johnstone. JR looking on. What a story. What determination. Curveball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Would that be some pitching staff if he was healthy?
Oh.
And he's on the road. 2-1 pitch. High hopper to Guerrero. He's going to go to Lopes. The force is on. So that ends the inning. Nolan Ryan, 7 innings pitched. No hits, no runs. He has struck out 10. He has walked 3. The last base runner was Landro. That was in the 3rd inning. He drew a base on balls. Joe Garagiola with Tony Koufax here in the Astrodome. We welcome those of you watching the Detroit-Milwaukee game. Nolan Ryan going into the 8th inning has a no-hitter. He's facing Ron Renicky. All 1. Renicky hit the ball hard his last time up. A line drive to right fielder Poole. Poole saved the no-hitter with a great catch off Socha in the 7th. 1 ball, 1 strike. Montreal beat the Mets 4-2 final. Ball 2-1.
Ryan has now retired 13 in a row, going back to Landro when he walked. It was in the 3rd.
Foul straight back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Crowd reacting. Scoreboard reacting. Final score, Milwaukee 4, Detroit 3. So Milwaukee goes into first place by a half game. They now are 27-19. Detroit 26-19. Popped up. Cruz, Reynolds, Cruz. At Boston game, Boston-Cleveland. Cleveland leading Boston 7-5 in the 9th as we look at that play again.
14 in a row now retired by Nolan Ryan as Cruz waves Reynolds off.
Boston in the American League East, 26-18. Pinch hitters come out for the Dodgers. Curveball misses, ball 1. Jay Johnstone will be the batter for Terry Forster. Hot shot. Garner has it. 2 outs.
That may be as hard a hit ball has been hit in this game, and Garner very smartly, we talked about how smart a player he is. As the pitch was on its way, a breaking ball down and in, he had taken 2 or 3 steps to his left, playing the pitch in the situation, which allowed him to get that great jump. He really anticipated well.
Jay Johnstone, the pinch hitter, 2 outs here in the 8th. Ryan moving closer and closer, 4 outs away from a no-hitter, 1 out away from ending this 8th inning. crowd reacting. Strike one. They'll tell you whether it's a ball or a strike. Bouncing ball to Garner. Should be easy. He goes into the ninth inning with a no-hitter. Listen to the crowd. So we go to the bottom of the eighth, 2-0 Houston. Nolan Ryan with a no-hitter, and we'll be right back, and I know you will. Dave Stewart is the new pitcher. Walling is the batter. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. Walling, who came on when Pittman was the pinch hitter for Spillman, leads it off here in the bottom of the eighth. Stewart, another one of the fine young pitchers the Dodgers have come up with. He's 4-3 on the year, an earned run average of 2.03. He's worked some 40 innings. He walked in. Greg Reynolds is the batter. The on-deck batter is Nolan Ryan. He'll get some ovation. There you see him. He's 3 outs away. In the ninth inning, he'll be facing Davey Lopes, Landreau, and Baker. And if he can get him, he'll break the record for no-hitters. He's right now tied with Sandy Koufax at 4, 3 outs away. And some 33,129 paid here, sitting in on this excitement. Walling, the base runner. Guerrero is in close at third. Strike. There you see Guerrero. Back a couple steps now. It's 2-0, Houston leading. Dave Stewart. Born in Oakland, California. Fouled out of play. He was the Dodgers' 16th selection in the June 1975 free agent draft. Two strikes to count. Walling at first. It gets by Socia. Walling will go down to second base. Let's see how they rule it. It's a wild pitch. Looked like a ball he should have been able to handle. We'll take another look at it. He might have been crossed up, and I've got to believe he is. He's going out to talk to him. We welcome those of you who have been watching that great Milwaukee-Detroit game. Right here is a base runner at second base, Walling, who just went down to second on the wild pitch. He walked to open up this bottom of the eighth, but the big story here is Nolan Ryan. You see him, the on-deck batter, has a no-hitter going as we go into the ninth inning. Reynolds doesn't get it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nolan Ryan is the man of the hour. He has struck out 10. Then 3 balls hit hard off Ryan. He has walked 3. The last base runner was Landreau in the third. We are in the bottom of the eighth with Houston threatening once again. They scored their 2 runs in the third on the single by Ashby with Scott and Cruz aboard. Fastball misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dave Stewart in relief. Two balls, 2 strikes. Reynolds will try to pick up a base if he makes an out, which means he'll pull that ball if he can. Curveball misses. 3 balls and 2 strikes. You should hear a tremendous ovation for Nolan Ryan when he comes up. He is the next batter. Cool, collected customer. 3-2 pitch. Foul back. In that third inning, when the Astros scored, Gardner opened with a single, was out stealing. Scott was safe on an error, went to third on a double by Cruz, and they both scored when Ashby singled on the first pitch to center field. The rest of the story has been Nolan Ryan. Out of play. Count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Walling at second base. Three balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Foul back once again. Reynolds really battling Dave Stewart. Dodger bench. Final score, St. Louis 5 and Pittsburgh 3. Final score, Montreal 4, New York 2. Philadelphia, Chicago rained out, 9th inning. Cincinnati 2, Atlanta nothing. San Francisco, San Diego play tonight. Bouncing ball, Davey Lopes can't get it. Run will score. Heading for second is Reynolds. He'll make it. So it's 3-0 here, and it brings up Nolan Ryan, who's talking to the third base coach, Don Leppert. Almost a mandatory bunt situation here, and nothing else to get him off the bases. Listen to the crowd. Nobody out, 1 run in. Reynolds seemed to serve that ball. Garvey's in tight. First. Foul. One ball and 1 strike. He takes another look at Leppert. Ryan singled in the 4th inning. One ball and 2 strikes. Nobody out. Reynolds at second, 1 run in. 3-0 Astros. Bunted to Garvey beautifully. Tom Lasorda comes out of the Dodger dugout now with Reynolds on at third, 1 man out and 1 run in. Lasorda talking it over with his young right-hander as Davey Lopes and his catcher Socha just. Final score, Cleveland beat Boston 7-5. As we look at the man of the hour, Nolan Ryan. So Milwaukee is in first place. Boston and Detroit both losing 26-19. Their records a half game behind. They're going to put the left-hand batter Terry Poole on and pitch to Phil Garner. So Milwaukee with the win over Detroit would take over. That race is really tight. Losing to Cleveland 7-5. Final score. Baltimore and the Yankees play tonight. Chicago started. White Sox didn't score. It's 0-0 in the second. Minnesota beat Texas 7-3. Tony Koufax to the field because we're sitting in on a dramatic moment here at the Astrodome. Nolan Ryan is 3 outs away from a. He has to face Lopes, Landreau, and Baker in the ninth to get it. So should he get it, Tony will be Turner. Pitch out, nothing going. It was on. Ball one. Reynolds at third. Cooley's at first. Ball two. Do I have the green light? You got to believe that he's got it. Stop, foul territory, near the stands. Socha difference. It's tough to pick the ball up in this Astrodome. I don't know how many panes are up there. I'll tell you, there's enough of them to make it a tough background. 2 balls and 1 strike, 1 man out. Bottom of the 8th, Astros leading 3-0. Line drive, left field, a base hit. Here comes Reynolds, stopping at second is Poole. It's 4-0. And here comes Tom Lasorda out of the dugout once again. He's going to make a change. He's got his young left-hander, Steve Howe, loosening up down in the bullpen. It'll be a long inning for Nolan Ryan, who's had a lot of time to think about what he's got to do. So we've got a break in the action here. It's 4-0 Houston. Ryan has his no-hitter going. We'll be right back after these messages. Steve Howe is the new pitcher for the Dodgers. Scott will face him. Let's pause briefly for station identification as we look at the Nolan Ryan strikeout story. This is the NBC television network. Scott jumps on the first pitch and fouls it off for strike 1 off Steve Howe. Joe Garagiola with Tony Koufax. Tony is down behind home plate because we're sitting in on the Nolan Ryan story. As the line score shows you, the Dodgers no runs, no hits. The Houston bench. It's 4-0 here. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Howe has come on and replacing Dave Stewart, and he faces Tony Scott with base runners at first and second. Right field. Renick's back, tagging up his Poole, makes the catch, he holds. Renick made a believer of Poole last night. He tried that play and he was out easily. So there are 2 away. And here is Cruz. Fans react. Steve Howe, there you see the statistics on the young left-hander. 4-3, 2.76 earned run average. Final score, Cincinnati 2, Atlanta nothing. Montreal beat the Mets 4-2. Philadelphia, Chicago rained out. St. Louis beat Pittsburgh 5-3. All finals. Line drive, base hit, no doubt about this one. Renick charges hard. Run will score. Holding at second is Garner. It's 5-0. Cruz has had some afternoon. He walked in the first inning. He doubled and scored in the third. He singled and stole a base in the fifth. He bounced out in the seventh. He has singled to drive in a run here in the eighth. And this is Ashby, batting right-handed once again. He's hit the ball hard. Inside, ball one. Coming into the game, Houston leading Cincinnati by a game and a half, so should they win this game, and they're well on their way, it will keep pace, and another game is off the calendar, which certainly hurts Cincinnati. It's away from Socia. There goes Garner. He'll make it. They've had two wild pitches. Let's see how they rule this one. It looked like he started to backhand the ball and changed it midstream and hit right off his heel. So Socia gets a pass ball. Base runners at second and third. Well hit to left field. Baker's going back. Back, has room, makes the catch. So that ends the inning, and it sets up the ninth, where Nolan Ryan has Davey Lopes, Kenny Landreau, and Dusty Baker. And there's the man of the hour. And the fans are starting to react already as Nolan Ryan sets out to try to get the last 3 outs to get his no-hitter. He's tied with Sandy Koufax right now, 4 apiece. And we'll be right back. Tom Lasorda is going to his bench, and he'll have Reggie Smith hitting for Dave Lopes as Nolan Ryan goes out here in the ninth inning to try to nail down the 3 outs that give him the no-hitter. And even before the inning starts, this week's NBC Miller High Life player of the game is Nolan Ryan, and Miller High Life is happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of Nolan Ryan to the Special Olympics. And here we go. One ball, one strike, 1 out. 2 outs away. strike, 1 out. Many would consider this the toughest man in the lineup to get out. Dusty Baker. Catcher was asking Fleming to ask the first base umpire, Joe West, whether it was a swinging striking motion. No, it was not. 2 balls, no strikes. Pressure building on Ryan. Well, you can see Nolan Ryan is with Tony Koufax. We'll be right back to talk to the man who pitched the no-hitter right after these messages. The story here in the Astrodome is Nolan Ryan a no-hitter as the Astros beat the Dodgers 5-0, and let's go to Tony Koufax.
All right, Joe. Noli right now has been standing very patiently waiting to us. Right now, Jerry Duggan of the Dodgers is doing an interview, but we're going to hear part of this conversation with Nolan Ryan.
Did you feel the ball that Socia hit in the 7th inning might find the gap?
Well, when he hit it, I thought it was hit high enough. I knew it wasn't out, and with Terry's speed out there, I really felt like he had a good shot at catching it.
And the only other ball hit well, I think, was Renicke's ball in the 5th inning.
Yeah, and I got in on him, but he hit it down the line good.
He said that Tony was telling me that the fastest fastball you had today was 97 miles per hour.
Well, I really didn't feel like I had exceptionally good velocity. I think that the biggest thing, I was able to get ahead with my curveball and move the ball in and out a lot.
Ross, let me interject because
All right.
Ross Porter of the Dodger broadcasting crew has been interviewing Nolan Ryan, who's waited so patiently. Just a reaction from you. Sandy Koufax has 4 no-hitters. You have broken it with number 5, and a reaction to you when you threw that last pitch.
Well, Tony, it was hard to believe that I finally accomplished it, because I guess if there's one thing I wanted to do in my career was pitch that 5th one, since I've had a shot at it, and I've had a shot at it for a long time. And at my age, I was really starting to think that I probably wouldn't get it, because I've gotten into late innings before. Even twice this year I went into the 7th with a no-hitter going, and I just didn't seem to have that stamina that I used to have to put somebody away. And I think today I felt stronger. I didn't strike a lot of people out in the later innings, but I tried to be a little finer. I didn't challenge as many guys in the late innings as I had earlier.
Nolan, I want to talk about 2 specific guys. Bill Verdon talked to us before the ball game, and he said that Mel Wright had worked with you so hard, and you had worked so hard to control the curveball. A comment on Mel Wright, your pitching coach, and also your catcher, Alan Ashby, who caught a beautiful ball game today.
Well, Alan caught a great game. He was thinking right along with me. We didn't shake much at all. We threw a couple of change-ups. They weren't working, so we just canned it. And on my curveball, Mel's worked with me, and I really think that the key to me is getting my breaking ball over. You can't win with one pitch. You can't shut people out with one pitch, because these guys, it's timing. They're fastball hitters. It doesn't matter how good a fastball you have. But if you have that breaking ball in there where they have to think about that, and you can put that thought in your mind, then you can get the fastball by them.
Noli, the superstition that goes along sometimes, and maybe it's old hat with pitching a no-hitter, you probably have been on the mound more than any pitcher in the history of baseball when you've gone late in the ball game with a no-hitter staring you in the face. What was going on the bench?
Well, nobody really said anything to me, and after the end of the 8th, Don Sutton asked me if I was superstitious. I said no, and he said, well, go put them away, would you? And so, you know, basically it's the same deal. The guys leave you alone. There's a lot of superstition in baseball, and it just worked out where I was as fortunate to have enough stuff to go ahead and do it.
When you left the bullpen before the ball game, well, let you introduce this young lady. Noli?
My mother.
Mrs. Ryan, have you seen all of Noli's other no-hitters?
No, this is the first one.
I know Noli's wife, Ruthie, came down in the field, gave him a big hug and kiss, but your grandchildren stayed at home. They did not see this no-hitter today.
Oh, yes. This was the day they all stayed home.
Noli, when you left that mound, did you think you had no-hit stuff down in the bullpen before the game today?
I never really know before the game, and like I say, I was struggling with my delivery a little today. I really didn't feel like my fastball is what it should be, and I got behind early in the game on some hitters, and with these guys, you really don't have the luxury of doing that.
I'm going to call in your catcher, and I hope you can stand around for a while. Alan! Al Ashby!
Just such a great game.
That was marvelous. Where were you sitting, Mrs. Ryan?
Oh, I don't know.
You lost track. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by. Nolan Ryan, our congratulations, and thank you for signing my scorecard. Congratulations to you. We're going to be back. Good luck to you the rest of the way. It's an important game, not only for the no-hitter today, but what it means to your ball club, and I think you never lost sight of that either.
Thank you. Well,
thank you,
Nolan.
Nolan
Big
Ryan.
game for us.
Nolan, our thanks to you. We'll talk to Alan Ashby when we come back. Right now, let's go back to Joe.
Okay, Tony, so the Astros 5-0, and Nolan Ryan becomes the first pitcher in Major League history to throw 5 career no-hitters.